Hey there, everybody. I hope you're all having an absolutely fabulous day today. It's July, and we're here in Northern California. I'm Fionuala. I live, work, and garden in gorgeous Zone 9B, a little bit outside of Petaluma in the countryside. And it's July. So what does that mean in your garden? What are the chores you need to do? There's some really vital ones that you're going to have to stay on top of to make sure that your garden thrives and keeps going as we go forward into this beautiful year that we're having. So watch this video, follow along. You're going to get some tips on all the fabulous things you need to do to keep your camellias happy, your roses happy, your garden in general happy, and you're not going to want to miss it. So keep watching. Let's wander through the garden, and I'm going to talk about everything you need to know for July. First off, let's talk about watering. Now, this has been an amazing July. It's really been pretty mellow. We're getting fog most mornings here in Northern California, but further inland, not so much. So July is the time that you really need to check up on your irrigation system. You want to make sure that there's no blocked emitters, that gophers haven't chewed through the tubing, that your well is working. I had a well problem last week. Oh, it was dreadful. And 3 days without water, a lot of my plants were super struggly and very sad looking. It was actually more than 3 days that they were without water. My irrigation is set to go 2 to 3 times a week. So I think some of the younger plants being without water for 5 days in the end, they're not going to make it. So check everything. Check your well pressure, check your irrigation system, check your emitters that they're not blocked and that they're working. But the most important thing right now is to make sure that your containers are watered. You have all your plants in your containers basically held captive to your watering. And if you let your container dry out for too long, the soil kind of separates out from the wall of the container. And when you're watering, the water will run across the top of the soil, down the inside of the container, and the roots of the poor plants don't even get to access the water. So watering, top of the list of vital things to do for July here in Zone 9B. Your vegetable garden. Make sure you're out there every single day. Make sure everything has enough water to produce all the tasty vegetables that you want. I'm out here in our veggie garden here at Cottage, and cucumbers. The cucumbers are beginning to produce already. So cucumbers are 99.9% water, so it's really vital that you stay up on watering your veggie garden, particularly the cucumbers. But let me talk about tomatoes really quickly. You do not want to overwater your tomatoes. You want to be consistent with the watering when it comes to a tomato. And if it's a paste tomato like the Roma, San Marzano, Amish paste, any of those fabulous paste tomatoes, you want to really be on the light but consistent side. Because what you don't want is that blossom end rot. That comes from inconsistent watering. Now you might say, well, I've got my drip set up, it drips regularly, it's all fine. That's great, but if the weather is not exactly consistent, that can cause a little problem. Like if it's a really super foggy day all day long, 3 days in a row, your tomatoes are not going to need that much water. So keep an eye on the weather. You're like a farmer in your own backyard. Keep an eye on the weather and water your tomatoes accordingly. Now, cucumbers in general, you don't want to overwater them. Water them overhead because you don't want to encourage any fungal problems. As always, with most plants, they do much better if you water around the roots. I just have to show you this. I'm so excited. We've already, after only about 3 to 4 weeks, have a beautiful cucumber starting here. It's more than starting, it's almost ready for harvest. I love that. The tomatoes are doing great. We've been really consistent with the watering. There's lovely tomatoes happening. My cherry tomatoes that I just planted 2 weeks ago, they are growing. These guys that were planted a month ago, they're up to about 4 feet tall already. And look at the corn. Consistent watering for corn is also really important. They're a grass. They're heavy feeders. They are heavy waterers, so really stay up on your watering of the corn. And they're so, so rewarding. You feel like an amazing gardener when you've got corn growing in the garden because they're so fast and so happy. And they really appreciate a little dose of fish emulsion every now and again because that's high in nitrogen. Corn is a grass. It all makes sense when you think about it. July in the vegetable garden still, you want to harvest your peppers. You want to harvest anything that's ready to keep your plant producing. Because if you let your peppers go to seed, it thinks it's got its job done, quits producing more flowers, and just kind of retires for the season. So I'm going to come out a little bit later with my snips and harvest these beautiful little peppers. So yeah, stay up on harvesting. Harvest those cucumbers, harvest those tomatoes, harvest those peppers. Anything in your garden that's ready to harvest in July, don't let it sit. You want that plant to keep on going, keep on producing all the way through fall. The other thing you want to do in your vegetable garden is to weed. Stay on top of the weeding, both in the veggie garden and the ornamental garden, obviously, as well. Water's in short supply here in Northern California. You don't want the water going to the weeds. You want the water going to your flowers and to your veggies. So stay on top of the weeding. Now the pests that you're going to find this time of year, let's talk about the pests for a second. Because you're watering your veggies, your flowers, all the rest of it, slugs and snails get attracted to that particular area. So keep an eye out, as always, for slugs and snails. But the other pest that's particularly prevalent right now are earwigs. Now, I have a video out there somewhere about the earwig trap that I love to make, that it consists of canola oil or any other vegetable oil and soy sauce. It's really fascinating. And if you have chickens, your chickens love those marinated earwigs. So slugs, snails, earwigs, and aphids. Now, I don't like using poisons in my garden at all. And aphids, you can get rid of them with a simple spray of water. Slugs and snails, hand pick them, use products if you want to, but especially in your vegetable garden, stay safe, stay organic, and if you do decide to use something a little stronger, make sure you follow every single instruction on the back of that packet. Let's talk about feeding. There are a whole bunch of different varieties of plants that really want to be fed in the month of July, and I'm going to tell you what they are. We're going to start with camellias because this is beautiful and shady, and I'm in the camellia area at Cottage right now. It's really important to feed your camellias in July. This is pretty much the last feeding of the season before they start budding up and producing blooms in the fall and the winter and the early spring next year. So it's really important. You want to give them a good acidic fertilizer. But the other thing that's great, again, I'm not sponsored by these guys, you can mulch your camellias and your rhodies and your azaleas and your hydrangeas and all those other acid lovers with this great azalea mix. It's really good to plant them in it, but it's also great to mulch them with it. You know who else really appreciates this as a mulch are blueberries, any of your acid lovers. So 2 to 3 inches of this right now, plus some good acidic fertilizer specifically for camellias, do that in July. You will be so rewarded by healthy plants, beautiful budding up, and fabulous blooms in the fall. You know what else wants to be fed right now? Your roses. So you've probably got a fabulous first flush of blooms, and now that the heat is sort of settling in, not really here in Petaluma, but elsewhere in Zone 9Bs, you might notice that your roses are beginning to not bloom as much. Stay on top of your deadheading, but also feed them. I like to give my roses some bloom food right now, followed by a little bit of fish emulsion in about 2 weeks. That really seems to help. I've been picking the roses at my house, bringing them indoors, absolutely loving them. But right now, middle of July, it's time to feed them, give them a dose of fish emulsion, and watch them take off all over again. Now, when you're fertilizing roses or camellias or anything else for that matter, don't do it on a super hot day. And also make sure you feed them after you've given them a good deep soak. You don't want to fertilize in dry soil. You don't want to accidentally give them too many salts. Technically, fertilizers are salts. You want to make sure the soil is really well hydrated and then do your feeding. They will be so rewarding. Just got to bring your attention to this rose. This is Henry Fonda. It is the most beautiful, intense color. The buds are so yellow. And when it opens up, it is just the most perfect, clear yellow. I love this rose. This is why I'm standing right here to tell you all about feeding roses. So what else do you want to feed? Any of your perennials that are budding up or blooming right now in July, they're really going to want to be fed. Your dahlias, your bidens, your marigolds, your annuals and perennials, both of them. If they've got buds on them, if they've got blooms on them, go on out there and feed them. Follow the same rules, make sure the soil is really well hydrated, and then give them their food. They're going to explode in color. You will be so thrilled. Okay, I think that's the chores done. What is the fun stuff? What can you plant right now? Let's wander through and I'll show you. One more chore I want to remind you of before we move on to the fun stuff that you can plant. Irises. If you have bearded irises, July, towards the end of July, is the time that you're going to want to divide them. Now, you generally don't have to divide your bearded irises, except for every 4 years or so. My bearded irises at home got divided last year, so I can't go demonstrate it for you. But if you've got bearded irises and you've had them for a few years, you notice that they clump up. They're clumping. And if you don't divide them, they generally just stop blooming for you. So if you want to get more bearded iris blooms going forward in the years to come, late July, that's when you're going to want to dig them up, divide them carefully, and replant out there. So what can you plant right now? Basically anything you find in your local garden center. You're going to have so much fun adding dahlias or dianthus or anything your little heart's desire. You can definitely plant in July, even if it's hot. Now, if you live in one of the hotter regions of Zone 9B, don't plant till late in the evening, or you know there's a little bit of a cool spell coming along, and really stay up on your watering. They're coming from a nursery or garden center where they're really well tended, watered maybe twice a day sometime, and you don't want to shock your plants by taking them from that environment to a fend for yourself environment. Basically, you can plant any time of year if you pay attention to what your plant requires that particular time of year. But for easy stuff to plant right now, you cannot fail with marigolds, zinnias, sunflowers. So much fun, so many blooms, so rewarding. And apart from that, petunias never fail to delight. Bidens. I happen to love these little Swan River daisies. I mean, classic little daisies in the most delightful color. And they're from Australia, so they don't mind the heat at all. This is, I can never say this word right, Brachyscome or Brachycome Fresco Candy. Really delightful. But sunflowers, zinnias, marigolds, especially those big giant marigolds that everybody loves to have for Day of the Dead celebrations. I love this Cocoa Deep Orange, big giant orange blooms. They look great in the garden, pollinators love them, and then they do great cut flowers too, so can't go wrong with any of them. Don't forget cosmos too, if you're looking for a great summer annual that you're going to just absolutely love. Marigolds serve double duty too. They're really good to have in your vegetable garden, both for the pollinating aspect, but also they repel a number of different garden pests, which is great. Now, I happen to love the big tall varieties, the African marigolds. I love the little single marigolds. But if you're looking for a really tidy little marigold for pots or containers or front of the border, these creme brulees are super cute and very sturdy and just delightful. I love them. Anyway, let's check out what vegetables you can plant right now. Follow me. Vegetables you can still plant in July. Cucumbers, beans. We live in an amazing climate here, absolutely amazing. It's so nice to know that we probably won't get frost till December at least, January maybe. And we had such a mild winter last year that I may be getting a little cocky about this. But I know for sure July, you still have so much time left, so much of a great growing season. Cucumbers, even melons, bush beans, corn, even some tomatoes if you start with a bigger start. Eggplants, I planted an eggplant this week too at my garden. Peppers, you can still do it. It is not too late. You're still going to get an amazing harvest. The other great thing, if you're into greens, there are so many wonderful greens that you can plant right now. Mustard and collards, spinach, but you're going to want to grow that in the shade. Afternoon shade is really important. Morning sun is fine. And here at Cottage, and I'm sure in your own local garden center, there's a lot of lettuce mixes that you can plant right now too that are made for heat, made for summer. But if you want to be on the safe side, plant your lettuce mixes in afternoon shade also. But there is so much you can grow. You can harvest veggies almost every month of the year here. And you can also plant vegetables every month of the year too. Ask your people, if you're shopping here, we're happy to help with any questions that you might have. What's safe to plant right now, what isn't, and where is the best place to plant it. But all your local garden centers will be able to help you with that. So don't be afraid, keep on planting, grow beautiful vegetables to bring indoors and add to salads or soups or stews or just eat in the garden. If you want to add something to your pollinator garden, you might want to consider Caryopteris. This particular variety is called Grand Bleu, and as you can see, the bees are all over it. They absolutely love it. It's a really beautiful, intense blue. It's deciduous, so it kind of dies back in the winter, but while it's blooming, it is covered in pollinators. You know what else? It's a great thing to do in July. Succulents. Put together a succulent container. Garden with succulents. Add succulents in. Anywhere. They mix and match with sunny perennials, shady perennials. There's a succulent for pretty much every situation, and they're more forgiving. If you live in a hot place where you may not be able to stay up on the watering exactly as much as let's say a alyssum might need, succulents to the rescue. So you can still garden all year long, even in the heat, if you start adding succulents to the mix. And look at how cute one tiny little succulent garden can look. And they are so, so easy to make. I put together a succulent container at some point in a video way back when. I bet you can find it somewhere. But be creative. You really can't go wrong with any mix. Hey, so thank you for joining me on this video. If you live anywhere in the area, come on by Cottage Gardens. You don't even need to buy anything. I just want you to come and enjoy everything we've got here. Watch the bees, watch the butterflies, watch the blue jays and the bluebirds that are nesting over in the box over there, and just enjoy being in this beautiful place. More importantly though, I want you to go outside and enjoy your beautiful gardens. Do all the things you need to do to keep everything alive. Keep an eye on everything. Walk your garden every day. It will feed your soul and you'll be so, so happy. So thanks for watching it today. Thanks for following along. Thank you for joining me here. If you're not in the area and you want to see more cottage gardens, find me on Facebook or Instagram. Drop me a comment. Let me know what you did in your garden this week. Hey, I was going to tell you what I did in my garden this week. I am coming up with a plan to make something extra magical in my garden. And I also planted a dozen zinnias and a few other things. So, what did you do in your garden this week? Thanks everybody. Have a fabulous week and I will see you next time. Happy gardening.